Imagine you're on your couch, you're on your Xbox, your PlayStation, hell, your Steam Deck. After you download Windows, because Bungie won't let you play Destiny on the Steam Deck normally because reasons. I'm sure there's actual reasons, but it's stupid reasons. Like Call of Duty on the stupid thing. The stupid reasons. And so you boot up Destiny. You play the Red War campaign. Can you imagine that? I can't. That shit's not in the game. It's gone and it's not coming back. It is insane. If people were like hoping, huffing hopium, I think we can all officially agree that anything that isn't in the game is just not coming back unless they decide to somehow decode the files to reuse the assets, but not to actually give them back the way you wanted to, have them, but just to have this little bite size that they're just gonna sunset again, unironically. So we have Bungie clarifies why you had to use community created videos in the Red War copyright lawsuit and explain why there's no feasible way to access Destiny 2's vaulted Red War campaign, even internally in new court filings. How? You know what's funny? What's funny is that Halo Studios or 343 has their like small little group that in the past years have worked on the Master Chief Collection, and they've been bringing all these files from Bungie and have put it in the game. But Bungie can't do that for their own game at the present. They remove their own files and they can't even use it. How do you not have the ability to have like just to be able to look at the content you've made? Like no one wants to go back and be like, hey, okay, we want to feasibly, maybe we want to redo some of this content in the future. But let's be honest, they were never going to do it, mostly because it would take money, and that's the biggest thing. But what's funny is they advertise the Destiny Content Vault. The DCV contains all destinations and activities from both Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, with the potential for vaulted content to return to the game in the future. You might as well just take this last sentence out and just shove it into the dumpster. For one, all the seasonal content has gone into the vault and it's never coming back. And we're never going to get Wrath of the Machine from Destiny 1, which is funny. It's like, there needs to be an asterisk that what they're going to do is bring like a reimagining, like Contest of Elders, which is a reimagining of Prison of Elders, but it's not like actually back. I just find it really funny that Bungie just showcases how incompetent of a company it really is. That they remove content from the game and then they have no way to actually, even for legal purposes, they have no way to use it. Let's just jump into the article. I'm sure this is going to be a dime. Bungie has made it clear in the new court filings that the original Destiny 2 Red War campaign isn't just gone for players. It apparently no longer exists in a playable form within the studio itself. The company says the game's original story mode, which was removed in 2020, is now completely inaccessible. You know, the Red War campaign, the whole reason for the 2 by Destiny, yeah, even Bungie can't touch that. This came to light as part of the ongoing copyright lawsuit filed against Bungie by writer Matthew Kelsey Martino, who claimed Bungie copied elements of his unpublished works to create the Red War storyline. Martino alleges that Bungie lifted key ideas, characters, and themes from his work, including a faction called the Red Legion and a plot that involved an exile warrior trying to take control of a powerful celestial object orbiting Earth. Bungie has denied these claims, calling them baseless and asking the court to dismiss the case, which is funny. Apparently it's not being dismissed soon enough because Bungie has to scrap around evidence to support them. But as part of its defense, Bungie also dropped a detail that Destiny 2 fans may find disappointing. It says that the Red War campaign no longer exists in any playable form, even within the studio itself, which is why the developer used third-party community-created content as evidence in its court filing. Hey, are you going to pay them for that? Actually, they don't have to. Bungie's motion does not involve a direct comparison between Martina's work, the infringing Destiny 2 work, Martina responds. Instead, Bungie's motion is based on a comparison between Martina's work and fan-made derivative works created by third parties, not the actual Destiny 2 game. My dude's like, listen, it's funny. It's funny because he's not like wrong. It's like, hey, you're just pulling from the community. And yes, My Name is Bife was considered part of the thing, and he absolutely does stretch things and adds new things to fit in the holes. Not completely, like usually it's lore bits, but he does theory craft a lot as well in his videos. So there might be some merit to what this guy is saying. I don't think he's right in the case. Like, I don't think Bungie stole from him. I don't think that's possible. But I do think he has like a little bit of an argument. Like, yeah, it's kind of stupid that you're using other people's content to justify your content. It looks so bad, man. In a new filing submitted this week on Tuesday, February 24, 2025, Bungie responded to Martina's argument and made a statement about Destiny 2's content vaulting. Bungie's head of engineer, David Aldridge, stated under oath that the original Red War campaign was removed from the game in 2020 and that is now impossible to access any. It's crazy that it takes them being sued and under oath to say the quiet part out loud instead of having the balls to tell the community, hey, we're not bringing this back because we can't. And if we did, it would take time and money. And they know, just like we know, that they can't try to sell it again. If they try to sell content that people already paid for or was already made free before it was sunset, they would be absolutely taken out back and shot like Old Yeller. So they know they have to make it for free, and they're not going to. They're not going to make anything that's free because they don't have the time, and they don't do free anymore. At least not to the extent that they would bring back multiple campaigns, storylines, raids. Like, let's be honest. According to Aldridge, while Bungie did archive the original game code, the rapid evolution of Destiny 2's underlying technology means that the Red War campaign is completely incompatible with the game's current operational framework. Even if Bungie wanted to bring it back, it would have to be rebuilt from scratch rather than simply reactivated. And what doesn't make sense is, like, couldn't they have upgraded it? Like, as they were upgrading the engine, they could have upgraded some of this content. I'm not an engineer. All I know is I paid for this content and they took it away, and no other game does that did what Bungie did. So fuck them. In November 2020, the original Red War campaign was retired from Destiny 2, such that it was and remains no longer accessible. Aldred explained the filing before the suit. Bungie archived the original code that comprised the Red War campaign, known as a legacy build. However, the Red War legacy build can no longer run because its outdated code isn't compatible with Destiny 2's evolved underlying operational framework, which has evolved considerably since the Red War campaign was retired. As a result, Bungie cannot feasibly provide the court with the original Destiny 2 game in its existing. You know what? I hope this guy, even though I know he has probably no merit, just the court be like, what? You don't have real evidence? Nah. You got to bring that stuff back for the people that paid for it. Like, come on, be a baller, judge. Do it for the gamers in the back. Make them fix, bring it back to justify it, including the accused Red War campaign in any operable or reviewable form. It's so freaking crazy that the fact that you can't even review it. Like, nor will Bungie be able to produce the original accused campaign in operable or reviewable form should this matter proceed to formal discovery. This statement also applies to all other vaulted content before Beyond Light, meaning fan favorite activities like the Leviathan raid, old strikes likely suffer the same fate. Bungie has consistently said that bringing back vaulted content would be difficult. I think they did not explain to the extent how bad it was. People thought the way that Bungie has always viewed that, like, and talked about the DCV, was that it was like something in the back that they had to remove to make space for the game. They didn't say that, hey, and they even made it sound like it could come back. It's even on their website that they made it sound like this stuff can come back. It's not going to come back. For longtime Destiny 2 fans, it's probably disappointing news. Over the years, players have repeatedly asked Bungie to unvault older content, including the Red War campaign, which it's not vaulted. It's just gone. There's a difference from vaulting something. Like, I'll give you an example. Warframe vaults certain primes, but then they have the code that they just put it right back in. Like let's switch, they turn it on. This is not a vaulting. This is a literally putting it in the shredder, getting like all the paper, and then you can't do anything with it. It's shredded. Sure, you have the original like parts of it, and you could maybe take the time to try to fix it and make it better, make it good, but that takes time and money, and Bungie's not going to do that. Yeah, no, this is not vaulted. This is shredded content. The Leviathan raid, which was widely considered one of the best raids in the game, has also been frequently requested. Bungie's latest filing strongly suggests that these things aren't coming back, not because Bungie doesn't want to, but because it would require a ton of resources to create everything from the ground up. They don't, and let's be honest, they don't want to. If you were to give Bungie an option, would you like to do new content or old content? They're gonna go for new content because they can charge money. And yes, I know they're a business, but doesn't mean, they're also a business that kind of screwed over people who paid for that content in the first place. But we're diving into the deep end right now. Bungie is still pushing for the case to be dismissed, arguing that Martina's claim doesn't hold up legally. The studio has pushed back hard against these claims, arguing that Martina hasn't provided direct evidence that anyone at Bungie ever saw his work, let alone copied it. It also argues that most of the alleged similarities are just common sci-fi tropes that aren't protected by copyright. Martina's latest court filing insists that Bungie's legal team is trying to shut down his claims before they even have proper examined. He argues that the similarities between his work and Destiny 2 are too specific to be a coincidence, and that Bungie should be forced to go through the discovery process, which likely require the developer to hand over internal documents and communications about the Red War's development. If they have even that, you might as well expect Bungie to put it in the freaking shredder, bro. Like, people thought, like, it's one thing that people gave thoughts on the Wrath of the Machine, right? Because they would have to make custom content for it, especially if Siva, and we knew that was going to happen. But you're talking about content that was in Destiny 2, assets that are still in the game, like Cabal, the theme of the Cabal for Leviathan, and they even brought like portion of Leviathan back. Obviously, they didn't bring, which makes no sense, by the way. They could have brought the whole thing back and be like a little surprise. Here's the Leviathan raid. It's not like it's an entire planet or an entire campaign. It's literally its own standalone content, and it would be much easier to bring back than essentially anything from like D1 outside. Like Wrath of the Machine is the only thing that's left, but they could like try to bring more one-for-one stuff, which is funny. They brought back the Black Garden, like part of the Black Garden with the Black Heart fight, which you can't play anymore because they removed that content. And then I'm sorry, it is mind numbing. They could have brought back Scourge of the Past, which is literally the content still in the game. Like, they've used the boss fight location as hubs. They've used the boss fight, the last two encounters for the hub for seasons that have left, but it's still in the game. The last city is still in the game. All they would have to do is reprogram the first encounter and the servitor chase. Like, it's not like the assets aren't there, but they don't want to. That's the bottom dollar. They don't want to do any more free stuff because they can't. They are deep in the pockets. They need to make money. They can't afford. The only reason we got into the light is because they were about to probably lose their job. Like, more people were about to lose their job because no one gave a crap about Destiny, especially the final shape, because the freaking Lightfall year was such a dumpster fire. It seems like we're going to this pattern of Bungie makes a banger, brings people in to buy the campaign, Then the entire year after that is just a dumpster. Then they bring in new content that makes people think, oh, this is a banger. Then they buy the next expansion. You see, it's this sickening cycle of sadness and pain, where they fondle your balls a little bit, they get right in the taint, and then they kick you on the floor. They knock you off, and they start pounding their feet into your balls. That's what it feels like. It's like, stop! Content vault your freaking feet off my nuts, please. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point, but it's just funny. It's just really funny that it took a court case to finally say the quiet part out loud that Bungie just won't say to the community because they know they would piss everyone off. If none of the content is coming back, Forsaken not coming back. In fact, I would say the Red War campaign probably would come back sooner than all. Well, I mean, the only thing they would have to bring back is the Tangle Shore, and then some assets, which is really weird because we technically have the Dreaming City. So a lot of the missions take place, or several of the missions take place in the Dreaming City, but they would have to essentially bring back the Tangle Shore, which they've already kind of piecemealed some parts of the Tangle Shore. I don't know. It definitely would be easier than Red War campaign because I forget, they would have to bring back multiple planets that they completely removed. Like Mars. Actually, was Mars? No, Mars was Warmind. And Venus was also Osiris, so those wouldn't come back. They would have to bring back Io. Is that it? I think it's just Io. Titan. They would have to bring Io and Titan back. Yeah, they're not gonna do none of that. Unfortunately, they're not. Especially when it's just a campaign. Most of the stuff is just story wise. Bungie's not gonna do that. It's just not enough substance, and there's no way for them. Even though they brought back some of the old planets, they could use that as a place to expand the seasons and stuff instead of using the same old thing. But we already know that Frontiers is going to be an entire new world. I don't know, but you guys let me know what you think. Either way, we can all agree that Bungie dropped the ball and is a incompetent company. It is crazy that they're like roaches that have managed to squirm from one house to another house in order to stay alive. They went from Activision trying to survive on their own, and now they're squirming into Sony to stay alive. It is crazy. But until next time, hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more. As always,